back again after a week away. Thank you to Carolina for posting something last week about how to read the Bible. If you didn't see it, you can check our website and take a look at it. She gave you a lot of really good information about how you can study the Bible or read it and gain something from it. So now that you have that, here's the message for today. No more excuses. When I exercise, not every day is a good day. Some days I don't have as much energy and I don't conquer the world in the gym. But I always tell myself on days like that in particular, it's not so much what I do, but that I do. So as far as reading the Bible, Carolina gave you the what, how to go about it. Now comes the that you do it. And that's what's really important in reading the Bible. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have sudden flashes of brilliant insight when you're reading the Bible. Just pick the thing up and start reading. And use some of the guidance that's been provided. But by and large, do it slowly and let the Bible speak to you. And if you do, it'll start to read you more than you are reading it. You'll see insights into yourself, into life, into God, and so forth. So it's not what you do so much as that you do it. I saw something about a year or two ago, a little piece on one of the news broadcasts of that day about a man who had turned 100 years old. And usually when someone turns 100 years old, people want to know, what's your secret? So what is it that you do and how have you lived so that you've been able to live this long? And this guy, he was spry, he was energetic, he had vitality, he had a sense of humor. And he said something that will always stick with me. He said, every day I do 10 push-ups. Every day. A 100-year-old man does 10 push-ups every day. Now, I work out a lot, and sometimes I do well over 1,000 push-ups when I do it. So that might not sound impressive to someone like me who does a lot, but what is impressive is that he does it. And he probably does 10 more push-ups than most people, even half his age, can do. It's that he does it. And I think that's the message for us when it comes to the Bible. So pick up and read the thing, and you might be surprised what happens. Yesterday, I was thinking about an interesting movie that was done in the 1960s. And in the 1960s, one of the things that was happening in the Roman Catholic Church is Pope John the 23rd was trying to open up dialogue between the church and some parts of society, in particular, in this case, the Italian society, among people who were not believers, who were atheists and so forth. And so he convened a conference where he and some of the other church leaders were going to have this open, interesting dialogue with artists and so forth who were not a part of the church. Let's try to bring people together and talk about matters of faith, matters of life, and so forth, and actually listen to each other. And so the Pope convenes this conference, and one of the people invited was a cinematic producer, director, movie maker named Pasolini. Pasolini had what at the time were three things against him, at least in the eyes of most people in the church, but the Pope wanted to meet him. They wanted to talk. He was an atheist, he was a Marxist, and he was gay. And so, but the Pope wanted to talk to him. And so he wanted to hear what he had to say about society, life, and so forth. It was a very warm invitation extended by the Pope to Pasolini and others. Well, so they reached the town of Assisi, where this meeting was going to take place, this gathering and this convening of people to dialogue and talk and get to know each other. And the problem was when the people in Assisi found out that the Pope was there, kind of bedlam ensued. And the traffic was snarled and people couldn't move around because there was so much bustle and excitement in Assisi because the Pope was there. And Pasolini had arrived and had checked into his hotel and couldn't leave the building because everything was so cluttered and so confused. So he, not having anything else to do, discovered that there in his hotel room was a Bible. And he thought to himself, well, I'm here in Assisi. I'm going to talk with the Pope. We're going to talk about faith, and I'm going to talk about myself and my own experiences. I might as well read the Bible. So he read all four Gospels, one after another, and read them slowly and read them a few different times, and was so taken by what was taking place in the Bible, and in particular with this man Jesus and the people who were following him, that he decided, you know what? I have to make a movie about this. I have to set aside all my other cinematic projects, and I'm going to do a movie about Jesus. And so he produced and filmed and directed a movie called The Gospel According to Saint Matthew. You can Google it, you can look it up. It is considered one of the classics of Italian cinematic history. This production of this movie, and it's kind of funny because we 21st century Americans, we're expecting all this flash and all of this high tech kind of stuff taking place in a movie, and that's what makes it great. This is exact opposite. Of course, in the 60s, it was shot in black and white. It in the characters in it were filled by non-professional people. They were not actors. He just took common people and put them into the roles of the people in the gospel according to Matthew. Even the character Jesus was not an actor. He just found somebody who could play the part. And now to this day, what would that be? Almost 60 years later, that is considered one of the classics by sort of the snooty kind of hoity-toity kind of movie critics and so forth. One of the great classic movie productions of all time, The Gospel According to St. Matthew. It is an interesting watch. I watched it yesterday, and it is very different. But to cut a long story short, here's a man who was an atheist, who was invited to a place to talk about faith, not sure what he was going to talk about because he really didn't have faith or belief, opens up the Bible, okay? He just opens it up. No prior training in biblical, literary criticism or anything like that. He just starts reading and became very intrigued with the character of Jesus. So much so that he set aside everything else in order to make a movie. And the movie still stands today as a classic. A story that says, open the thing up. You do not have to have expertise. Open it up and start reading. No preconceived notions. You don't have to have any prior education. You need no educational diplomas or degrees. Open it up. It's not what you do or how you do, but that you do. And so with Pasolini in mind, and as we're now approaching Holy Week, I want to invite you to just open up your Bible. Open up to the Gospel according to Luke, and simply read Luke chapter 22 and 23. This will give you some background and the experience in entering into Jerusalem during that fateful Holy Week where Jesus arrives, cleanses the temple, gets in trouble with the religious leaders. They trump up a lot of charges against him. They put him before a kangaroo court. They convict him of who knows what in order to then crucify him. And they persuade the Roman people to have him crucified. He's buried and so forth. And just read that. Just read it. It's not what you do or what you get from it, but that you do it. Luke chapter 22 and 23, and experience it and let it talk to you. And I think you will discover that it will be a very significant experience for you. No more excuses. Well, I'm not sure what to do. It's that you do. Okay, so there's your challenge. Not what you do, but that you do. Luke chapter 22 and 23. And I trust you will have a blessed Palm Sunday and the Holy Week that follows as we look forward to rejoicing on Easter morning. As Christ is risen, he is risen indeed. Blessings to you. Bye now.